Hey Golf Gang, and we're back with Path of Exile video. We're on the Onigoroshi build, and I've spent several hours today trying to get this build work with the very limited currency I have, with the limited gear choices I have, and just doing a map, see what it's like, changing something, doing another map, seeing what it's like. I'm stagnated at tier 5 maps. I can't do even white tier 6 maps with this build at the moment with the stuff I've chosen. So this is the kind of where we're at. What I am going to do though is keep the character and the build as it is. Oh, excuse me, I've got soda on the go, so I apologise if I burp. I'm going to keep it as is, wait for the transfer into standard softcore, and then I'll have a lot better choice of gear, more currency to play with. As you can see, I've burnt through over, I don't know, I think about 100 orbs of chance, turning them into orbs of regret. Used all the orbs of regret. Excuse me. I've used all my refund points, plus I've done all the quests I usually skip. So this is the Resolute Technique tree. It works, but the damage is pathetic. That's 21k. Let's put on the buffs, blood stance. So without the chieftain buff, we are on a tooltip of 17, going up to 31. So yeah, it's if I take blood stance off, I think actually the DPS goes up. There it is. Yeah, hold on, wait for the number who go. There we go. So 15. So it's absolutely horrible. Sand stance, do we do more damage in sand stance? 14. Meh. Blood stance does better. So yeah, as you can see, it's not great. If we put up blood rage, we go up to 19, which is fine, and because of our regen, we don't actually lose any life. So it's don't get me wrong, it's okay, it's good, but to really push this into red maps, you kind of need better gear than I've got. You probably need to go crit. When I was crit, I was doing the higher damage, but it was because I didn't have 100% crit. It was really bad. Sometimes you stand there against a white mob and it'll take 2 or 3 hits. We took out life tap. We're running with pulverized inspiration because no life tap mana costs. Tectonic slam, obviously, elemental damage, multi-strike, and then we've put in elemental focus because we're not stacking ignites, and Onigoroshi itself doesn't give ignites, so it just made sense to put elemental focus in there to get that extra damage and then not have to worry about scaling any ignite or DOT damage. I tried getting a 5 link on this set of armor I found or got from trade, I can't remember, either or. But it wouldn't 5 link, so we're back down to a 4 link because I was hoping to get a 5 link with multiple totems, put the totem in here and have go down to the 4 buffs, the 2 heralds, Herald Purity, Herald of Ash, Determination, and Blood and Sand, to leave us the mana we need to power our Tectonic Slam. Life tap was working, but with the minimal crappy gear and resources to buy gear we had, it meant our life pool was low because using life tap we needed vitality, and that needed to have an arrogance on there so we could get our damage higher. Oh, we've also gone with the cast when damage taken support as well, once we got rid of arrogance and vitality, so we've got that on there to help with defenses. We weren't dying, it was just taking a long time to kill the map bosses, and even white tier 5 maps or magic tier 5 maps was proving very difficult. So yeah, the build is kind of stuck. We've got this ring which I had to roll with essences. We've got this ring for our intellect. We've got this as well. I think that come from trade. This is the helm we had anyway. Onigoroshi, obviously, these gloves. Feast bind, just because we can't afford to buy a decent replacement belt. And obviously our boots there. And these are all the flyers we ended up with. Even though we're RT, we swapped out the diamond flask for a basalt flask we found and rolled it, and we ended up with shock. So yeah, it's that one would need to be re-rolled, but again, lack of real supplies. I mean, I know I've got 200 alts, but I was trying to save those for other flasks, but I've kind of given up. We haven't got enough to automate our flasks anyway. So that's where the build is right now in Kalandra. I've been POBing like a POB warrior. So on screen now is the original build I had, which was based on a level 95 tree as a chieftain, as a crit build, and we've got 2 crit medium clusters to get 100% crit chance. There we go, 100% crit and 100% hit, so we're hitting and we're critting. But as you can see, the stats, I've got no gear in this. I just put enough gear in here to get the crit chance max, to get some endurance charges, and to get the stats we needed to run. We needed a Crusader item to get the final bit of global crit. The rest of the gear is not in here, and we've got a Replicant to try and get the mana cost down. So that was the original build with loads of crit, and this was what I was hoping to get, but it didn't quite work out that way. So I then did the RT tree, which is here. So we just go into the RT items. Pop. So we dropped this and got some fire conversion gloves. We just put fizz damage in there because with the charisma enchant, more dex, attack speed, elemental damage, etc., etc., more stats and attack speed. So yeah, it's going well. So then we into the tree, and this is the kind of tree we ended up with. Again, we took the clusters to try and make it suitable again as a level 95 tree, and we were taking the Herald buff clusters. Both setups had the same large cluster, which is 12 increased fizz damage, battle hardened, fierce assault, and iron breaker. So we then came down here for some frenzy charges and vigor for increased maximum endurance. We're running blood rage, so that's where our frenzy charges come from. The life is a lot better. The mana does sort itself out. If I change the skills over, I just can't be bothered. Still chieftain on this one. There we go with the RT. So we've dropped all the crit nodes. We've taken less cost. More DPS. We've cut out Sovereignty Wheel because we don't need it. One of the reasons we had Sovereignty Wheel is to fit in a high level precision for our accuracy and our crit. We don't need that on RT, but we're still running life tap. So we had all these life tap nodes here to do more damage, reduce the life cost. Looks like I didn't change this over when I was doing the tree, I forgot. We took this as well to give us some mana issues. So that was the RT tree, and then I thought, wait a minute, we can still do fire. I know Chieftain is like the fire spec, and you do lots of extra fire damage and blah 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 blah. Well, the Juggernaut had changes, and rather than spend all of this points, all the crit points, and trying to get accuracy cap and crit cap, how about we do a jug? So we went back to a crit build and we changed the trees on here. So we'd have there'd be the Tectonic Slam setup again, hoping to have 6 red on the Onigoroshi. Again, both Heralds, Determination, Blood and Sand. We'd have a 6-link Ancestral War Chief setup. Casting damage from Mage taken, Molten Shell, Blood Rage. Excuse me, Precision, link, unlinked in the gloves. And then Leap Slam, again with the combustion in the Leap Slam. So we Leap Slam into a pack and then hit them with a Tectonic Slam. And then the drug tree was actually coming out a lot better. DPS was a lot better, given the same level 95 with the same large cluster, and we then changed it to back to the crits we had, and then stuck in the replica conch. We didn't have quite 1 point. I couldn't figure out 1 point to put in there to put another jewel. So we've taken the crit nodes again. We've also taken Unwavering Stance as well. And we've taken all these nodes here. We've dropped the life stuff because we're not life tapping. We've come up here. We've taken precision up here as well to help with our dex requirements. And we've taken sovereignty as well. So we've got 75 mana, but our tectonic slam is down to 17. And I'm sure if you geared it properly, rather than taking endurance charges as a craft, you could either buy rings with the minus mana craft on them, or get +1 endurance charges somewhere else, minimum endurance charges somewhere else, and then get the minus mana craft on here, making your tectonic slam 3. Because it's -7 there, -7 there. That gives it 14. You're down to 3. So yeah, that was the idea behind it. With the reason we want endurance charges is because of tectonic slam. Where are we? Here it goes. Slam the ground. Consume an endurance charge every third time you slam the ground with this skill, because it does more damage. So 5% more every effect per endurance charge, and then more damage, fissure damage. So I'm not sure how endurance charges, minimum endurance charges work for that. I'm sure someone out there will do, but I'm just a casual pobber. So yeah. As for the jug tree, I was thinking of taking coming down here for untiring, for the life regeneration rate, etc. Up here for undeniable, for the accuracy and the attack speed per accuracy. So we're almost hit capped just from that one ascendancy node. Come through here for unflinching, for the endurance charges to power tectonic slam, and then up here for undying, because we've got 2 minimum endurance charges anyway from our rings, plus all the other endurance charges we're hoping to get on the tree. I had a look at the other nodes. Unstoppable seems okay, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I've not played with the new jug too much at a high level, I wasn't sure. And this one does a lot of damage. Once we get all of our endurance charges on there and optimize the tree better, I think that one works out better, because we've got one max there, and I think we've got another one. Oh no, I had to take it out. So it's kind of the I need to play the character really to do it. We've got most of our dex requirement from this node, because I took this node for the strength, for the increased accuracy equal to twice your strength. So I thought this node might help us out. But also we could take the +5 dexterity per allocated mastery passive, which helps us with our dex. So on our rings we don't need to get too much dex, and we don't need intellect at all, because we've removed the gems that were giving us int issues. So I think the jug would be the way to go, just comparing the damage. If we switch over to, if we stay in crit and go back to the chieftain, we're at 705 on the jug. We go to the endgame tree, it drops down to 649, and then if we go to RT, let me just change the items over a bit. There we go. As you can see, we're down to half. So it was a massive jump. Although you could go RT, the implicit then on Onigoroshi is completely pointless. So it's a crit chance on the Onigoroshi. So basically, RT on the Onigoroshi doesn't really work. So yeah, I will provide a copy of this POB so you can have a look yourselves, and if you want to play with it, go ahead. But once we do the transfer into standard, I'll be able to gear the character, and then I may even put out a guide, or at least a POB guide for 3.2. So I'll tidy this one up once I've figured out which way is the best way to go with the resources I have in standard. And I'll only have a couple of days before launch, so hopefully I can get this one out. I'll tidy all the notes up, depending on where we go. I will leave these notes in here if you want to have fun and either buy an Onigoroshi or farm one yourself in the last couple of weeks of Kalandra League. But yeah, I'll pop this POB in the notes below so you can have a play with it any comments, suggestions, etc., please go ahead. This build, I've never done anything a build like this before. I took the original PoE Ninja one I found and completely gutted it because it was an SSF character, so I was hoping to have a better deal in trade, but I'm a bit late to the party in Calandra League. So yeah, I'm gonna strip down the old Lightning Strike character I've got. I'll probably do that tonight. Local time wise, as you can see, we're just coming up to 1900 hours. So just after this video has finished recording, I'm going to strip down my Ascendant and all the Lightning Strike gear. I might try and sell that in Calandra League. It's not great gear, but it's okay gear. I'll strip all this down, get the character deleted because I'm not interested. Lightning Strike's good, but as a Scion in BPL it worked ish, but yeah, I'm not happy with it. It's not a playstyle I enjoy, I figured out. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Calandra. No more Calandra stuff from me. Any other videos will likely be my HC SSF challenge and maybe a couple of updates on the builds I'm running in standard, maybe. I've got a lot of IRL stuff coming up over the next week, so I apologise if I go quiet, but as we all know, in the content creation business, IRL must come first. Thanks for watching, hope you understand, stay safe in Rogue Harbour.